My mom passed away when I was 10. My parents were already divorced at this point, so I was the sole beneficiary of her estate, so I have a trust fund which my granddad manages for me until I turn 25, I'm currently 18. As a part of the trust, my mother left me behind some money to pay for college which I will be getting access to soon. My dad remarried my stepmother shortly after his divorce with my mother, and she has two daughters, Hannah, 16 and Emma, 18. Since my mom passed, I've been living with my dad full-time and spent school holidays with my grandparents. For the first few years, things were okay, but then my stepsisters started to complain about my time with my grandparents because they took me and my cousins on fancy international trips and they were jealous, and my dad started trying to force me to limit contact with them. My grandparents ended up threatening to sue my dad for grandparents' rights, so he stopped. Instead, he started refusing to give me permission to fly abroad and wouldn't let me keep all of the gifts my grandparents bought me. Recently, my dad and stepmom sat me and Emma down and informed us that they wouldn't be able to help us with college because they'd run into some financial trouble a few years ago and had to use the money to keep us afloat. Emma was devastated, and when I didn't have the same reaction, my dad asked me why I wasn't upset. I explained that I still have the money mom left me, that my grandparents also had a separate college fund for me, and that my aunts and uncle, mom's siblings, also had smaller college funds for me. My aunt on my dad's side also gave me $5,000 as a high school graduation gift and money for college, so I should be able to complete my degree without needing to get any loans, as long as I work part-time too. My dad already knew about the money my mom left me, but he had no idea about the rest. Emma and my stepmom started insisting I had to share the college funds with Emma, otherwise it wouldn't be fair. I refused. This is my mom's family's money, so I don't think I should share with someone who isn't even related to them. My stepmom started screaming at me and calling me ungrateful for all of the things she's done for me, and that she was going to sue me for all of the money she spent on me growing up. My dad got angry with her and told her to stop, and now they're not speaking to each other. He said he's happy that I'll be able to go to college without any debts, but if I would please consider giving her at least one of the smaller funds. Since then, Emma and Hannah have been horrible to me. My stepmom keeps forcing me to do all of Emma's chores, and Hannah said if our parents divorce, it'll be all of my fault for being a great idiot. Am I the idiot? Not the idiot at all. I despair at the way your father has handled this. Their mother still being alive is the priceless treasure that they are forgetting in all their jealousy. It would be a kindness to share some of the money, but you're under no obligation to share money that your mother's family has put aside to support your goals. Your parents' marriage isn't your burden to bear either. Not the idiot, and your dad knows it. He is just trying to convince you to share. I think you should talk to your grandparents about how your stepmom is treating you and what has happened. They would have a better insight on what to do. But absolutely do not share the money your mom left for you. Your stepfamily is trying to take advantage of what you were left with. Also, your stepmom has no ground to sue you. She marries your dad, so she is obligated to provide for you. I wish you the best and talk to your grandparents, maybe they can help you more. They shouldn't get a dime of that money. If I were you, I'd be looking to stay with your grandparents since you are 18 and can now make that decision. Your stepmom is a monster and so are her offspring. They're petty, jealous, immature and entitled. Do you think for 1 second they'd share any fun they had with you? They definitely wouldn't, and your stepmom would chew you out for even suggesting it. You need to get away from these awful people. 2 weeks ago my wife's parents passed away in a car accident. Her father was 65 and her mother was 63. My wife has been completely devastated since. She is an only child and was extremely close to her parents. They were wonderful people and I also grieve their loss. The issue of this post stems from our son. Our son is 15 and has been pretty unempathetic to his mother. He is fairly introverted and started pulling away from his grandparents and us at 13 and now spends most of his time playing video games. He didn't react much to the news of their death. I have tried talking to him about it a few times, but he has told me that he didn't feel that close to them. I still have to go into work while my wife is on bereavement leave. Our son is doing 100% online learning and is also home all day. Since the accident, my wife and son have had several bad interactions. Examples: wife was crying in the bedroom and son barges in and asks when dinner is. Wife asks him to make himself something, he rolls his eyes and walks away. Wife set up online Zoom funeral with her aunt and cousins, her only remaining family, and asks son to attend. He gets on the call from his room, but was on his phone the entire time and didn't wear a shirt. Wife asks if son would like anything from his grandparents' house as a memory. He loudly replies nope and walks away. The big incident came 2 days ago. I was at work when my wife called me sobbing. What happened is that she was in the living room playing some old videos with her parents when son comes in. He asks to use the TV to play a video game and she says to give her an hour. She then asks him to join her. His reply was, "Mom, I honestly don't give a crap. They were old and gonna die anyways, can you just get over it already?" She sent him to his room and called me. I talked to him about it when I got home and made him apologize, but it clearly wasn't sincere. It upset my wife even more and she asked to speak with me that night. She told me that she is having a hard time grieving with him constantly sharing the same space and him being rude and dismissive of her. She proposed that he spend 2 weeks with my sister since they have a similarly aged son he is good friends with. She wants the 2 weeks to go through everything from their house, deal with illegal stuff, and really process her grief. I do understand where she is coming from, but I shut her down. I told her that it is unfair to send him away and that if she needs some time apart from him, she needs to be the one who goes. She argued that she needed my support through this and if she goes, she has no one. I told her I loved her, but our son comes first. She slept in the guest bedroom that night and hasn't spoken to me since. I feel horrible and am second guessing my decision. Was I the idiot here? You are the idiot. First of all, your wife needs space from the kid. Second of all, why the hell is that kid not already in intensive therapy? He told his mom to get over their death because they were already old. And you see no major issue with that. Your son needs medication and therapy immediately. 2 weeks ago your wife's parents died and you're choosing your antisocial, non-sympathizing, attitude-giving, idiot of a son over your mourning wife. Seriously? Your son sounds like a horrible human. He has no empathy. He can watch her mother sobbing and he rolls his eyes. Have you taken him to therapy? Has been diagnosed with something? This sounds so wrong. There's something seriously wrong with him and with you. You're the idiot. My son comes first. Right or wrong is how you ended up with a kid who thinks an appropriate response to an unexpected tragic loss is they were old. Get over it. If you're not going to reinforce that he's behaving abominably and needs to reflect on the hurt that he's causing, well, your wife focuses on what she needs to focus on rather than his petty demands for attention, then at least arrange for counseling. Stat. When I, 21, was 14 years old, my father died of cancer. It was absolutely devastating for me. My world ended that day. I loved him so much, he was the absolutely best. After that it never was the same in my life. I changed completely, cried for months, went quiet, barely left the house anymore. Even to this day, I am still going to therapy. My mother on the other hand moved on pretty quickly, which was the cause for many conflicts between us. She met a new man when I was 15 and married him when I was 16. He is a nice guy, we mostly get along, but I just can't see him as my father. For me he is the husband of my mom. And that is something that he absolutely dislikes. Worst part is, I can even somewhat understand that. But I just can't help it. He constantly demanded me to call him dad until my therapist, we also go to family therapy sessions there, asked him to stop. He even tried to adopt me at some point so that my father's name would not show up anymore. Now to this story. Because of the crisis that is going on in the world, I had to leave my college dorm because they closed it. I moved back to my mom and her husband. When I unpacked some of my stuff in my old room, he came in and saw that I placed my beloved picture of me and my dad on my nightstand. The only one I still have. Mom threw most of them away. It's very old, but I take it everywhere I go. All the time. I can literally not sleep if it's not there. He started joking. Still have that photo, huh? You should forget him already. Otherwise all that money for therapy that we spend was wasted. Get over it. You're a grown adult now. He was grabbing the photo and it seemed like he wanted to throw it in the trash bin, although he denied this. I was feeling like crap already because I lost my student job and, more importantly, because it was around the time of Dad's birthday. But that sent me over the edge. I absolutely flipped and screamed. Shut up. Give it back, please. Please don't throw it away. I jumped on him, took the photo out of his hand and started crying hard. He left very angrily and went to tell my mom. She is now very upset with me. She says that I make him feel not included all the time and that it is unfair for him to be reminded of my father in his own house. She said that it's time for me to accept that he is my father. But I can't make him feel like my dad because that would be betrayal to my father. I went to him and apologized for my behavior, but he told me, "Until you can't see me as your dad, nothing changes for me." They don't really speak to me right now. They almost ignore me. I don't know what I should do now, everything sounds bad. Am I the idiot for not being able to move on from my dead father? Not the idiot. After reading what I said, I am literally appalled that people like this are on earth. I don't understand how your mom isn't understanding about this at all. It seems like she is prioritizing her husband over her own child. I understand that you can't move on, but I strongly encourage you to move out as soon as you possibly can. I am extremely sorry for the situation that you are in, but it seems like they both have no sympathy. What the hell is wrong with your mother? She is so eager to move on that she wants to forget that bio dad is and will always be your father. Stand your ground. My mother died when I was 14. My dad was not in a relationship with her. I had to live with him and his fiancée, but everyone let me pick the relationship I wanted. She is my father's wife. I love and we have a great relationship, but she is not my mother. I was too old to start over and had no interest erasing my mom. Especially since my mom and I had an awesome relationship. You have a dad, even if he's passed away, he is and will always be your dad. Should you choose to call your stepfather dad, that's entirely your choice. Honestly, I've never seen anyone call their stepfather dad unless it's the only father they've ever known or if their own father was awful. This doesn't apply to you, and the fact that your mother and stepdad can't understand that is really concerning. Hide your picture and continue not to call your stepfather dad unless you feel comfortable doing so. He is not entitled to that. My boyfriend and I lived together. A few years ago, I moved here from out of state and met him. We moved in together about a year later and have been together 3 years. Since I moved, I haven't made many friends. I'm out of college and work from home, so it's hard to meet new people. Every year around my birthday, I get really depressed now because back home I used to have huge parties to celebrate every year, but now I know like 4 people other than my boyfriend and not super well. This year I decided to try to have fun anyway. I talked to my boyfriend and set up a Facebook event, made plans to go to a restaurant I like here, and invited everyone I know in town. Everyone declined my invite. It was crushing. I was devastated and it really made me feel like I had no friends here at all. I wound up canceling the event and cried almost every day for the next 2 weeks, often sobbing on my boyfriend's shirt over it. I felt totally rejected, and every time he'd just try to soothe me by telling me how much he cares and that we'd do something just the two of us instead. On my birthday, we went out to dinner together. I ruined my makeup, crying at dinner over the situation despite trying not to. It was painful. When we got home, we opened the door to find my friends waiting, yelling surprise. The reason they all cancelled on my event. My boyfriend had told them to, so he could do this instead. The party was fun and all, but I feel betrayed by my boyfriend. He thinks I'm crazy and that the positive of the party I got should override any pain that I went through before it. I think he watched me sob my eyes out for 2 weeks over a problem he created, knowing the whole time he could tell me the truth and fix everything, and instead had me thinking everyone I know here hates me. Who's the idiot here? Not the idiot. Your boyfriend, sort of, meant well, but he's the idiot here. He should have realized that you would be completely devastated by all the declinations. If he wanted to surprise you with a different party, maybe having the party early would have been the way to go. Not by making you think you had literally nobody who cared about you and then turning it all around in a moment. You were up until close to end. I didn't see that twist coming. What your boyfriend did was so disgustingly selfish and narcissistic. I'll never understand what goes through people's mind when they do this kind of thing. Making you feel like crap so he can swoop in and save the day is such a manipulation. The fact that he can't see why you're upset just shows how far removed from reality he is. Does no one know what emotional distress is? The stress and agony it causes. The anguish and pain and trauma. I'm crying for you too, girl. My god. He definitely did an idiot thing, just to come out your smug savior. He owes you a million massages and a billion bonbons, and to swear to never cause you emotional abuse like that again. My friend and I have known each other and been close for 25 years. For the sake of this post we will call her Trixie. Now Trixie and I are both 31. Trixie has a horrible taste in men and always ends up in the crappiest of positions. I have opened my doors to her and her kids multiple times and fed and clothed all three of them, as she has never held a steady job and has always relied on men to support her. The last time she stayed here was 6 months ago. She was here for collectively a little over 2 months. During that time I got her a job, I put her kids in childcare on my dollar, and I supported all three of them. I had no problem doing this, as I own all of my luxuries, and my payments on everything is far less than my monthly income. I did this out of the kindness of my heart. Now, for 9 years I was dating a man, let's call him Aaron, that I was madly in love with. We never lived together, but we spent every weekend together and went on dates often. I was blinded by this love I felt for him and never saw the truth, which is that he did not want to settle with me. When I did catch out and started questioning it, he ended things on bad terms. Blocked me off of everything. I was so devastated, obviously, and Trixie was there through it all. She held me when I cried, she picked up more house chores, so I didn't have to do it. Overall she was super supportive. This all happened while she was living with me. Near the end of her time within my home she started acting off. She was always on her phone and started hiding it from me. Which is weird because why would I give a crap what she was doing on her phone? Anyways, she moved out. She said she met someone and he offered her a place to stay. She kept saying he was the one. He even asked me to watch her kids for the weekend so she could meet up with him and feel things out. I agreed. She moved out a week later. Well, they just made it Facebook official. She is dating Aaron, the guy that I was seeing for 9 years, and he moved her into his home. She called me 2 days ago, long after I found out, and tried apologizing. She then went on to say, you were always telling me I needed to find a good man, and I found one. Aren't you happy for me? I told her no, that I was not happy for her, and I would never be supportive of this decision. Especially where he had just broken my heart, not even 4 months ago, and she witnessed what it put me through. She said that I am an unsupportive idiot and that I only viewed her as a charity case and that I was never a true friend. As a true friend would realize that no man is worth ending a friendship over. I freaking resent her now and all respect I had for this woman went out the window. But now I am feeling really crummy because I will more than likely never see my niece and nephew again. Am I the idiot? The aptly named Trixie has probably been canoodling with Aaron for a long time. That is probably why he broke up with you. They have both shown you who they are. Believe them. This has understandably been a terrible blow to you. Block them both on your devices and consider some therapy. Treat yourself to some nice things or activities that you can afford now without the burden of supporting your faux friend and her children. Look, I usually prescribe to the nobody owns their ex's philosophy of friends dating their friends' old partners, but this is a step too far. It's only been 4 months, you are nowhere near over him yet. She was sneaking around and lying to you and using you for childcare while dating someone who hurt you that badly, and she has the gall to call you a bad friend. I'm sorry you may lose a relationship with the kids you became close to, but if it's any consolation, it sounds like she and Aaron deserve each other. Not the idiot. She was shady and now wants to manipulate you into being happy despite your own feelings. She's really unfair and not a good friend. As for the kids, give it time. When you're ready, you may want to see the niece and nephew again. But for now, just take some space.